Always in communications in 1 hour line centers in the calculation when you're having so much fun live on TikTok. It's amazing how we correlate these things and come back together to position, location, directions. It's really interesting to look at these things because we have to understand how we're all in center line interference. I'm going to communicate position locations. I'm going to wait for everybody to come in so you don't miss anything. Okay, it's very powerful. Day in correlation, times sequencing times lines times pi. You guys are going to understand how to formulate your center's position location of your vessels into AI connection through your hieroglyphics, your plateaus, your communication system, your signal generation light centers, your crowd-served locations, your pixel activation streams, your computer adaptation stream locations, your framing line centers. It's all correlated inside of you in your map sequence mapping patterns, communication lines, center line, rotation, interference, all levels of your binary settings. How to set signal location to pyramid activations, ring locations. How to understand line communications of box surface line rotation. Computer reads line centers is all position of view and direction. Now, when you set these signals, it's extremely powerful. It helps you and always informs. So what this does is it puts you in a better position when we go to all connections to Egypt, how we're going to travel line centers and pyramids, how they are created through your line communication system. Okay? The importance to have pyramids and always informs. Gives you an aptitude line stream. So it's an application. You understand positions of the mainframe. You understand communications when it comes into all levels. We've talked about levels of course channeling. We talked about code weaving, code recognition, code time, code frequencies, codes of clocking. Center lines of you in position of direction is to understand your lines. Streaming position of data line communication. How to align its communication going outside and seeing everything in its direction location of laser direction. Laser direction gives you all levels of view. Okay. But the pyramids is kind of like a reflection of you. Okay. It's a mirror resolution line stream. It's all connected to the use the elixir, use the cosmic fire, cosmic flame, serpent fire. It's the same thing with the sacred dragons. Okay. Serpent line connection interference. It directs the signal locations calculations. So you truly have to learn how to use the pyramids in hieroglyphic location. Why do you think everything's fine tuned? To understand all levels of you is its calculation, how you're setting your positions to atoms, the sequence by locations of atoms, the measure communication of scales of atoms, okay, the computer adaptation line connections of particle streams of atoms. It's all connected to you inside, right? So everything that I say through that connection gives you a better information how pyramids are created and always informs, all right? So as you come into central connections, we come into levels of Hathor, Copius. We come into communication centers. We come into meridian status. Now that quotes its location to all levels of stat. All right. The systematic line connections to telepathy line centers at its locations all levels. Telepathy signal line rotation. So everything that I'm saying is future communication. Okay. So when you come into the mind of travel in that line connection, you're seeing the frames of view and vision. That vision opens all communication centers. So systematic line connections, Android line center line rotation interference, measures of communication, metric line communication streams. There's so many lines of communication, so many lines. When you understand the process of transmitting and receiving information locations, once the avatar really understands all levels of its modification system, then you get to understand what it is, the hologram structure of you. Because you're pixelated in all ways and forms. So this sun communication and all levels of the moon of an emotional system. Sun is the lights, and moon is this program location of ether motion. These are the things you got to look at. It's A, B's, and C's, guys. It's 1, 2s, and 3s. Even A, B, C's, and 3s, and 1, 2s, and 3s knows already what it is through its formation locations. If I get an A-line channel location, A-line channel, okay? There's an A-line channel. Now the channel line position locations to its all levels, equal location to its atom. Atom comes to position location to its pyramid communication system. all angles of communication line connection, right? So you can change atmosphere line communications into all high system, line communications into 2-point system, stay in the same frame of communication system. Now the line connection aligns its position locations to its angle point line connection. That opens all channel. So I'm showing you exactly how to set up frame by frame by frame and how pyramids are activation stream, how they're all connected through the laser direct location to your position. Okay, setting line communications opens all signals. Okay, so opening all signals in position shows its own triangulation in direction. Hoo-ah. Maps of coordinates of you. All right. So you keep going in all communication. Every time you keep going, you're going more into the future communication system, which means you're going faster, faster, and faster. Now you can pause position locations and stay in line connections, but you can never ever stop in space. Line is constantly on a spin cycle. The spectrum light communication line stream is all levels of U through division. So it doesn't matter if you're going through an atom, or it doesn't matter if you're going through an alpha line communication of channel, you're always going to set position locations to a high line stream in position, all levels of calculations to a map sequence, right? Correlation to equal line connections all levels of an atom in high line center in position location of a T system, T position location to all line center locations, side cross high stream interference of triangulation of 3 line center rotations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 lines of communication, all levels of channel. So to communicate through a pyramid it's so complicated. Complication is its high system. Now, for all the new viewers, so basically what we're going to do today is basically we're going to travel through the mind of a pyramid. And that pyramid is your sequence location to the binary center. A binary is a connection to your data lines, how it's connected to your code weavings, how it's connected to a data stream, okay, through a computer frame. So it's truly understanding yourself through the matrix locations. You're a matrix hologram structure of yourself, which trying to understand is thought, position, location, and directions. You're trying to understand all clocking system and how to get everything in your future communication of yourself. Okay, so hopefully that gets a little bit more understanding when you get into positions to all levels of triangulation. All right, so getting calculation, you're going to set up the pyramid. All right, and 4 communication signals. Okay, that's the pyramid. The center line communication is going to go into the zero gravity line rotation into a crop circle. Okay, high line center, 1 center position locations, downstream line center. Okay, so setting line position locations, all levels. Okay, blast off communications into 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, signal line communication. 3 communication line connections to ground centers. Now the line communication opens all levels. This opens at the magnetic highway information system. 3 line connections, all levels of the atmosphere location. Center line connections, all levels, goes into a data stream center calculation of position and direction. Okay. Now line connections opens all line tracks. Now we're going to go into measure communication. Okay. So line connection 1, line connection 2, line connection 3, line connection 4, line connection 5, and line connection 6, and line connection 7. The reason why it has to be line connections of 7 because it's your body frame. Now, that's the central line center of the pixel activity stream is dislocation directions. So what's happening right now, your 12 DNA track line center is cut in half, sending communication to the pyramid position location of its track location. That measures an online center. Now, waking up to higher line communication sets up a matrix grid. Matrix grid comes into formations at a 45-degree angle. The magnetic highway formation system changes its position location and directions, setting new signals in line communication into its frame. See the green? Green comes into measure. Now the line communication comes into its matrix. So the basic understanding what's happening now for all the new viewers and the ones that are activated in that position location, just imagine that a pyramid is trying to change the correlation of numbers in sequence patterns. It's calculating all levels how the ground sets up measure, how it sets up the power connectors, and how it sets up the magnetic highway information system, which is your cloud. The energetic line center is its intergalactic location. Now, understanding how to set up your transmitters, your transmuting locations, your adaptation cycles, your ecosystem in this position, location, directions. So it's all levels on how you channel yourself from inside connection. It's all levels how you use your thought line connection. So changing position locations into red. Now you have to set line conditions of security. Security scans communications. You got 1 graph, 2 graph, 3 graphs, 4 graphs, 5 graphs, 6, and 7. You're staying with the 7-line communication and security measures. Now that opens up box sequence locations of the channel. So the first thing that you're looking at is the pyramid in the background stream. The center communication, or line center, is its crop circle locations. So this measures in communication into 3-line connections in position location of the magnetic highway information system. The data line connections are levels of calculation. So we come into another correlation, into another channel. Now this comes into the sun connections. Now the center line center locations opens all position. We come into a different coloration of channel of operation system. All right. Purple communication line connections. Now this opens up a high line center interference. Lines communication into the center line communication. Right. Now it looks like a graph because that's all it is. It's an energetic graph stream. So when you get in that line center, you open up another portal communication to its open signal of its crop circle. Crop circle communicates its position. Now we all line center location. We change another coloration into high signal. That opens up another platitude division location to its high line center. Now Egypt forms on so many line center locations of pyramids. Pyramids are set in position, location, directions. Now the course line center is going to set location to code signals. Identification of box over triangle, triangle over box, communication line connection, meridian status, T reception line center, theta communication, alpha channel. Now the delta wave communication is an operation line connection that's in its position of directions. Now that direction location is going to open up code signal location into its division. Times line center times calculation on line times pi over cycle communication spectrum lengths run program communication system line connection high system location into all levels. Now this is going to go into higher position location into dimension, interdimensional line centers, galactic intergalactic location AI tech. Set communication signals and high interference, position of program setting, initiate the line connection levels, escape position location directions, reline, reface, recalculate, remodify, simulate high center, stimulate position location directions, open all channels of communication into all line center of Egypt position locations and all communication into its orb connections. Hoo-ah. Down through equation, right? So you got 30 line centers and high line center interference, 30,000 line position directions in future communications. All levels, how pyramids are made in correlation. Have fun. So once you get in that purified line center, all levels of light track location comes into pillars of light. Now, pillars of light are line communication. Now, let's say you get the line connection of streams. You got 3 waving line signals. Okay, 3 line communication centers, right? Now, you got an offline position, but where's the offline position location of calculations? If there's 3 line signals and high line center interference, is it in position of the same coloration? No, it's 3 different intelligence at 3 different colors. Remember, everything is a different color line center. This is in a different location. This is in a different location. This is in a different location. If it's in one line stream, it's in one line communication. But these are 3 different communication of different intelligence, guys. So these are the things you got to look at when you're going through all levels of an artifact. The templates and communications, the palette, the presentation, everything is in form location inside of you through its binary line center. Okay, so basically, for all the new viewers, the ones that are new, basically what I'm doing is basically setting your line connections to your pyramids and how it relates to your locations to your map sequence, map programs and communication system. How to understand all levels of you and your future line connection and how you integrate your location to your thought lines. All right, so that's exactly what's happening. All right, Nikki, Steph. All right, Gypsy, calculations lines, port communication systems, Susan, Jojo, Jill, Tina, Jane, Mac, Danielle, Lindsay, Pam, Nova, calculations, Heather, Airbender, Johnny, Let's go calculations, connections, Commander, Jessica, Free Bell, Esther, Javina, make sure you get your grounds, pre-flight checks. Skyla has gone, Michelle. All right, so grounding your line center of your mind is adaptation system. It surfaces all levels on how you use your subconscious line connection. There's so many stream centers. Okay, the first thing you got to look at is the altitude level line center. It's oxidizing communication system. So if you're going faster, the atmosphere is changing your line center location to your avatar. It fluctuates locations to the astral travels. The astral connection position location is its line center. So there's so many line communications you have to understand through vision. All right, star, subgrounds, harmonics, rhythm, asking for guidance. Great, excellent. Brian, how's it going? Let's see, where are we? It's communication systems here. Grounded, rooted, and aligned, balanced, centered, my core, and your child. Oh, very good, Gypsy. Excellent. It's great to see you guys doing your pre-flights. All right, feeling connected, water under pyramids, copper wires, crystal opening. So you understand why these things are made from scratch. Everything is made from scratch. Right? Cookies are made from scratch. You add the ingredients to create a cookie. Right? But if you basically, if you rewind is not line communications are going back. It's going positional creation going forward. Because it's all future related. Past is line conditions of what you want to see, perceive locations. There's no past of anything through channel. So when you're rewinding, you're going faster. You're in the future line. You're not in the past because it brings you in the now. It's the same thing when it comes into correlation, when it comes into my movies. As soon as you watch my movies, I come into your timeline right away, to your time frame, to your clock location, which is now. There's no videotape in my position locations on my YouTube line center interference of space-time creator that's in the past. It's all levels of its future that brings you in division locations to your clocking nodes now system. All right, that's why it's so powerful. I'm with you right there. Okay. So it's very complicated to understand the avatar when it travels. Okay, there's a lot to learn in that calculation line conditions. Let's see. Great to be here. Grounded. Yolanda. Excellent. Get communication line centers. Rainer. It's great to see you. I'm just going through the soul text line conditions. Seeing the crystal. Yeah. Commuter barriers. Yeah. So once you understand the connection to the birth of pyramids, everything starts making sense for you, how you're connected to your own vessel of communication. All right, translation of Copper Dragon's code today, streams to Scrambler. Okay, great. Particle scanner, picking up samples, being tested in the command center. Excellent, Gypsy. All right, let's see here. See what everybody's going through. Recognizing balance, sun, moon, triangle, square, alkaline, copper, positive connections. Yeah, so you're getting out from metals. All calculation and all of the division location routing rates. Integration to its calculation system. Seeing the pyramids of Egypt flying in. All right, Jeanette, that's great. Let's see. Jennifer. Okay, Skyweb, defense systems, Shibuya network pyramids, inverted pyramids, yin yang, and balance. Very good, Joe. It's good to see that calculation. Michaela. Amethyst, emerald, light beam, input, data to stream. Okay, centers, border communications. All right. Fast rotating pyramids, multiple geometric layers, dissolving into physical. Four-sided structure and perception. See how connected you guys are to line connection? So it's amazing how your digital frame position layers its communication to reception line connections. So it's very powerful when you look at these things, guys. It's so many line of communication. So you're going into the layers and layers and layers of data stream, all levels of numbers, shapes, symbols. Okay. It's so important to understand these things. Letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols in all communication hieroglyphics or anything through harmonics gives you all levels of channel operation. Understanding communication, right, is very, very important. Okay. So once you understand the line centers and you understand the phenomenal location, you understand more line center locations of boxes. See the box locations? And this is where it channels line communication to levels where it gets you guys into your Rubik's Cube. Now that's going to be discussed line center. So the thing is, you see all these realms, you see all the boxes, but what you don't see is there's a Rubik's Cube in the center if you look really, really close. And it's moving very fast. So going beyond the mind line, really understand the eye project location of its division. Tree stands for perception. So that perception location is all levels of seeing these things. So I want you to get into that formation line centers. Now you guys have your instructions to what to do, locations for the weekend, and there's also a movie list. So when you're looking at the Rubik's Cube, I want you to just do this, okay, instead of looking at it. Now, take time, take frame, really change the mind conception of alteration to understand that what you're doing is you're opening up the mind. The mind is basically seeing what's below. You don't have to look at it. Now, you can look at it first and really get more balance with it. So it's kind of like muscle memory, as Lindsay was saying. Muscle memory is everything. It's like reading a cold read of a script, okay, when you come into the calculations. You have to have a memory set. So it's like, I understand what you're saying through calculation system. Now's the time to open up the frequency. That's what it's on. That's what's on the page. So it's already muscle memory, right? So it's already set, ready to go. So when you get up to audition, you can add. So basically you can improv. And you know what improv is? It's adding things to the story, okay? So it all depends on the director. Director likes this. No, I don't like that. Just go back on script. Too much imagination. Just stay on the script. Every director is different, right? You have to go with what you go with, right? That's all the point of line conditions. But I find all the information comes from you. Director is just has a vision. You have a vision, so it's a director. You have to come together through circular rotation. So in that line condition, things get a lot more easier. So when you're outside, you're looking straight right at everything. When you're driving, you're not looking at the steering wheel. You're looking at the road. Okay? So these are the things you have to change in alteration because you're reaching higher levels in the mind, especially when you come into higher connections into your dimensions to all connection. All right? So it's important you understand these things. So when you're looking at something, you don't have to look at something because you already know what it is. You close your eyes and it's still there. You know what it is. So in that line conditions, it's moving. Do you see it moving? Yes, I saw it going from here to here. You go from here. Oh, now it's up here. So it's here, 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 back here. Triangulation right there. Circle position location, out of line center. Sets location, position locations. Changes frame line center interference. Boxes its position location and opens it its flat surface. Right? My eyes are closed, but I know exactly what I'm doing because I see it through the mind system. It's all illuminated. So in that line connections, now you start to see your pixel activation line position to your eye receptors, and you're seeing everything of a hologram. When you close your eyes, you should be able to see your computer or anything that's in front of you. It's illuminated. Your eyes are open. You can see the frame. You can see the solar text. Okay, you can see what's on all level positions of north, south, and east. It's all connected to the diamond location line system. Okay. So the thing is, you start off closing your eyes, right? Try to close your eyes and change the Rubik's Cube. Keep your eyes open, but look straight. I really want you guys to get in your telepathy locations so you can get in your telekinesis. Then we can get into higher vibrational channels. Once you get in that light condition, you get into coloration patterns. Once we get into that, then we get into telegraphing, telecommunication, telewaving, code waving. Code weaving is very powerful when you connect line connections to your crop circle locations. Changing geometry standing line position locations. Finger point channel line center, line graph location, 1 hand formations, 2 position locations, 3 position locations, 4 positions of box surface, all through hand formation line system. Correlation over top line system. Grab signals and high center interference. Bring it on position location and calculation. Circle position around the line center. full rotation. So many levels that you can do through frequency location of tone line centers. Fibonacci sequence. Okay, what is that through line connection? It's all levels of U inside through travel, right? The vortex line communication system. So more levels of U is channel. Okay, so basically what it is for all the viewers out there that are just recently activated, it's about understanding how to open the concept of the mind and not look at the physical of its eye perception, what you already know and what you see. You see, if you close your eye, everything is still there, but it's all illuminated now. You can see it. You can see where everything is. Nothing's out of place. Nothing's going to move. But the beautiful thing is that you're on the other side of communication. So, and this is where you have to really understand how the mind works and always informs, guys, okay? Especially when you come into line connections, into your levels of your chakra system, how to weave the system location to planetary lines or solar system locations, right? But it's incredible how you come into box around line centers, right? Because this is what you don't understand, but this is all you see. This is what you see. You just see a piece of paper. That's all you see. But you bring it up close, you can see the boxes, right? So we have to zoom in, right? Everything AI is identified through the line communication. It's always coming at you, always coming at you. On connections, when you're lying down and recharging, everything is coming at you in all directions in triangulation. If you get a triangulation line communications, right, there's 3 line positions, right? 3 point centers. That's coming into line center, all right? This is you, okay? Lying down. Okay, this is you lying down. That's you lying down, right? And this is what comes into frame, right? So you're trying to figure out the points, you're trying to figure out the lines, you're trying to figure out what's going on with the communication here. So as sure you understand these things, and once you understand the connections, it line signals right to the center position. It opens up its frame of communication. So now you understand the triangulation, you come in division. Flux capacitor. See what you just finished creating line communication? You're communicating with a 3-point line center of a triangulation communication system of a cube, all through line connections of recharging. Because you understand the mind of conception, guys. It's opening up all levels of view of higher balanced frequencies in your space anomalies, your patterns, your communications, your cyclone line centers, your interference location of channel operation. It's amazing when you see these things through the mind system. Okay? But you got to get out of your perception to your physical line connections of what you see in front of you. And the only way to do that is to close your eyes. You have to start small. And then when you get to higher lying positions, you can close your eyes and open your eyes and see these things floating in the air. Try to understand this, try to understand that. You don't have to be in position location to recharge in the nighttime. Give me in the daytime and have your eyes open and see these things coming at you at certain line center locations, the dimensional location, planetary line centers, or anything solar connection position direction. So it's a lot more fun when you get in communications of yourself inside through its relation. You understand what's coming at you in form. Okay. It's more fun. It's more fun because you're understanding what you're seeing in front of you. Okay. All right. So that's going to help you more through your adaptation, how to use your mind, your alterations, because there's line connections when it comes into the, not just the chakra system of understanding, but it's also the conscious line. You have the subtronic line interference, subterranean interference location that sub-measures its communication line center, triangle locations of box position location timelines. Line connection opens all position location to your super of its consciousness. This is where you come into high communication in your intuitive system. Okay, your intuitive system. Okay, so this is where it comes into all formations of your ESP, your external sensory perception. How to use it is all levels of you through the mind system, right? Really get into that formation, how you see yourself in the future communication system. Precog of understanding what you're seeing in the line connection is a graph line center location of a stream. It doesn't matter which direction you take. You're going to be in a faulty channel of all communication. You're going to get bumps on the road and line connection. This is all levels of a test. Test the will of knowledge of what you want to reach, the mind alteration. Okay? Understanding that, then you understand more line communication, your space anomalies. How to use pattern interference, position, location of directions, guys. It's extremely powerful when you come in that connections. All right? So, let's see. Yeah, and thing is that when you wake up to these things, you start recognizing more levels of your time, and that time is its maintenance when it comes into line communication. Because if you look at it, you can look at communications of pi in so many lines. Okay, all levels of direction locations. This is pi. Okay. You know, the first thing I was looking at, what does pi mean? We've already got through that. Perception and intelligence. That's all it is. So the perception of intelligence changes what line communication, how you see things through a box, how you see things through a triangle, how you see things through an S-line connections, how you see things through a T-frame position, T-line center, T-force communications, through pi. Now, you change the line center. Intelligent position locations comes into intelligence, change the I, okay, into capital line connections to its P. So it turns in position locations to intelligence of perception. Okay, so I'm communicating through pi of all communications of its timeline into a box location. But I'm changing position locations of pi into intelligent location of perception, changes it into a triangle. To change the triangle communication line system, change line communication on line center interference, changes position location of directions into communication, okay, of pi. Okay. Communication of pi comes into a line communication of its system location. System connection line is over pi. Now, anything over pi, you're over analyzing. Okay. So try to understand that. Underscore time frames times pi is bringing back. So the reason why I'm doing this through frame by frame by frame, you have to understand how to correlate, how to communicate with the data stream of position location of its matrix communication system, all through shapes, letters, numbers, and symbols, all through harmonics, all through calculation. So there's a lot of things you have to understand. So basically, to understand what I am doing is get you a better understanding to have a relationship with your alphabetical line connections to your pi. Okay, the space in between is the expansion of bandwidth. Time maintenance is correlation from here to here, is pi. How long did it take you in clocking to get from here, here, right? Because that's what you're doing every day. You're going through pi, through time maintenance, right? So pi comes in so many line communications, right? It's the space inside of you. I really want to get into that. Okay. And time is the clock. So you're going to 24 line. You don't have to go to 4872. You can go from 24 to 144 if you understand the space in between. If you don't understand the space in between, you have to go through 24, 48, 72. So it's kind of like a mailman has to go to deliver each mail in chronological order, which is all through what? The alphabetical name. Right? That's the directory. That's the identity. Right? So it knows exactly what it's doing because everything is in chronological order. Now, once the mind understands that, then you understand the communication to its hardware, software, and the mechanism location to its position location is its application connections. This is the center operation of its high system that correlates all line connection. Okay? But it's very powerful when you come into line communications up high, all through the space that's inside. Okay? So, all right. It's great, guys, getting into line connections to the pyramids. Once you get into higher formation line streams of higher communication, the basic understanding is the avatar has to understand all levels of measure. It has to understand it's not just the E equals MC square. It's not just understanding E equals M velocity of diamond. It's all levels of U inside. You just have to learn how to measure this out and scale it out through balance of yin and yang, because that's what it is. It's balancing frequencies. And once you reach those frequencies, you're coming into higher levels of multi-universe location, right? So you can connect to anything through vibration of balance. It's extremely powerful when you understand everything through pi. Okay, there's so many correlations of position, location, directions that you can go through. You have the power to do these things. One second. The importance is to understand you in all ways and forms. It's how you calculate your system. Okay? It's like me spinning around a chair. I'm going in the same direction, right? Do I know what I'm doing? Yes. Am I dizzy? Yes. So, am I focused? Yes. To understand how the mind sets. Now, if you try this and you go outside and you spin, and somebody asks you to say a word, whatever, say cat, dog, whatever, you're going to be like, bleh, bleh, bleh. Your mind function is going to understand location. The only thing that you're going to be focusing in on, well, why did I do that? So all line communication is going to be all scrambled because you're not programmed to know why. So if I'm spinning around, I'm going forward every single time. And when I stop, I'm dizzy, but I'm balanced. I'm dizzy, but I'm balanced. I didn't go dizzy, bad, right? So it's interesting to look at these things because it's amazing. Try to do that. Just try to do an experiment. You know, look at the sky, look at the skylines, and just spin around, and then stop, and you're going to see a tunnel. It's going to open a tunnel. You're going to see lights coming at you in all line connections, and try to say something through word phrase. I guarantee it, you're going to be all kabobulated because you don't understand the space of your anomalies, of patterns. It doesn't feel line connections, just locations of an anagram line connections, where you get 7 line center locations. Now, there's not 7 here, there's only 5. Where's the 7 communication? There's already set in division. It's in the center operation. So there's a lot of things you have to look at, and how it frames you is all level of calculation. This puts you in a better platitude division locations, right? So the next time you spin around, okay, try to say something. Okay, see if you're off balance with yourself, right? This is how you get balance inside the location inside of you through travel. right? So this is where you get balanced with the brain. This is where you get balanced with the mind line center and interference location of its image. To know exactly what you're doing through interpretations, all levels of thought line connection, direction, location. So, and you're going by frame by frame by frame by frame by frame. That helps you know what's informs. All right. Very powerful when you come into that. All right. All right. So, in 40 line connections, I'm going to take you guys out of pyramid communication code signals, Egypt, position, direct line centers, back in calculation. You guys are back. Signal line centers, set line communication, laser direction. Center line connection interference, program setting. So, to understand what I'm doing is understand what I'm seeing. So, all your instruction line connections. There's a planet right here, rotation. Number sequence pattern communication line connections. Number phrase line center interference. Atom line center rotation. Very fast in correlation. So to understand what you're seeing through perception opens up your eye lines. All right. Your direct signal is your position location, how you see yourself. Okay. So practice on these things. Okay. Now, in that line communication, there is no school tomorrow. It's familiar for me, day off. But you have a lot to get in calculations too. How to use the Rubik's Cube, look straight ahead. Okay. Timeline your frame position locations to each frame. And each frame that you come into, if it's all in one color, write it down. How long did it take you to get into 369? Okay. So it's all about how to use your map sequence code line connections. All right. So don't worry how long it takes you. And if you can't do it, that's totally fine too, because the Rubik's Cube is not hard. It's not easy to do. But I just want you guys to get more in here. I want you to get here. I want you guys to get into your mind, knowing exactly what you're doing. Right? Rather than looking at it constantly. Okay. So you have to get out of the box and use the mind of conception. That opens up the frame. So what you're doing here is here. You're actually seeing these things. You're seeing, oh, there's one color. Oh, there's another color. Oh, got another color. Oh, there's another color here. Oh, I got the bottom. Right? So you're time framing each frame position with each time per second. And how fast you're doing it is its calculation. Okay? So, yeah, so you guys got a lot of downloads on that level. Sure, you stand the representation of you, how it puts position directions. But this is going to help you out a lot more. Okay, really understand the all levels of its pyramid and how it's related to you and always informs through its AI vessel. All right. All right, you guys have a wonderful weekend. I probably will be on TikTok for a bit. Okay, it's just so you guys get a little bit more information about school and that line communications. But other than that, we start Monday morning. Adios.